Hi everyone, welcome to Conversations with MM. This is Marivir Montebon here at the office of WFWP New York in a New Yorker Hotel in the heart of the city of New York. And it's a wrap for the celebration of International Women's Month. And I'm so happy to have with me our wonderful guest, a woman of substance, a woman of action, a woman who inspires the community and the world, no other than my twin, Miss Merly Barlaan. She is the UN Relations Director for WFWP New York. So, twin, welcome and thank you for
Hi,
having me
Twin.
and
Good
having me in your office.
afternoon.
Good
How are
afternoon.
you? Very
I'm
nice
good.
to see you again.
Of course, very nice to see you. I like
Hi,
your blue
everyone.
shirt.
Hello there. Good afternoon.
Thank
Good
you for
evening.
having
Good morning.
me, twin.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's an
Now,
honor.
right.
We're wrapping up the month of March.
Yes, for
Yes.
our celebration of Women's Month, which revolves on development, on leadership, and overall inspiration for women by women so that we become real actors to develop the world and our communities. So, twin, I'll immediately jump into the question on how is it in your 25 years of development work? How has progress developed as far as women's lives are concerned? Could you scale it qualitatively and quantitatively based on what you have done?
Oh,
I know
wow.
you have done a lot.
Wow, it's $1 million question.
Parang pang Miss Universe
Parang
ba?
pang Miss Universe.
Okay.
But yes, I I can only scale it according to my own reality, right? So when I first started working with Women's Federation and started my ambitious community development framework, I had this mindset that think globally, act locally.
Yes.
So then it's easier to scale, right? So qualitatively, quantitatively. So in my community, in my beloved, beautiful Montisonting, Carmen Buhol. Okay, 25 years ago, that place, literally, I would walk on a mud road, right? And when it rains, just water under the up to the knees. Just I had a video actually. I had a video. I made a video together. I think you remember maybe 10 years ago we created video to raise funds for that. But so now if you go visit Montisonting in Carmen Bohol, you would see that there is a paved road already all across and even in the surrounding villages. And then there are infrastructure there and also Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, that place is wired. Yes, there's a connection. I just spoke to my mother few hours ago. And that is like the very place that is so hard to reach in terms of technology. And now I can speak very clearly as if I'm talking to my mother from across the room in my house.
Oh,
just
nice.
Very clear. And so that's more like the technology and the infrastructure which is there. And actually, by the way, I want to thank our very hardworking Congresswoman Alexi Tutor for being the instrument for that, and our barangay officials of Montesanto. Kudos to you all. It really takes a village. It takes a village, not just to raise a child, but really to the whole development framework and the whole process of making it happen. So that for the, I guess, quantitatively, yeah. And qualitatively, I have a more like ambitious goal because when I came in, my dream was to raise peace loving, future incorruptible leaders, patriotic, altruistic, incorruptible, honorable future leaders of the world, transcending the barriers of poverty. And that was we did the plan together.
I know. I remember that.
Some in 2009, right? So we are a bit ambitious, but in terms of scaling it, I would say, we have planted the seeds. We have planted the seeds, and I have met, I think, the best of Bohol young people. And we partnered with the university, Bohol Island State University, with Dr. Magante and Dr. Arceli Hernando. And then with that, and the Women's Federation for World Peace, we did a lot of campaigns, we did a lot of projects, and we have now, and I think the very evidence of it, if you really want to scale it, is we have two brilliant young leaders, Christine and Dale, who came as part of the delegations of the Women's Federation.
So you have honed leaders from that community work.
Yes, because instead of the best way forward in terms of raising global leaders is find the people who can lead 1,000. One person who can lead 1,000, not 1,000 person who doesn't know how to lead, right? But then I found a lot. I found a lot of young people. So in that, I still want to reach 10,000 young leaders in the quality, just like Dale and Christine. And there are many of them in Bohol in the Philippines. But I would say the foundation is set, and they are growing, and I can see that in their capacity right now with the foundation that we gave and the platform that we gave to them. I feel like they can do much better than what I can do. So I would say really I'm halfway.
So that's 5.
5.
That's a big job already. Like,
yes, I guess I'm just like a hopeful person.
Developing young leaders to be able to sustain community work is very challenging, especially among young people who I believe would want to go to the city and, develop their careers. And hopefully Christine and Dale would be there entrenched in the rural areas and see development with their eyes and leading and together with people, right?
Yes,
I think that's hard. But I saw them twin at the in your videos, like they are doing permaculture, which is a very doable way to regenerate the environment. So that is a very like hands-on and concrete action. And we in the media, we like stories like that. It's like it's hard to just quoting people what they say, very eloquent. But particularly myself, I would like to come up with stories that are really action-oriented.
Everybody likes that story.
Yes.
I mean, these stories like this is what we want to see.
Right.
So it's not just you, it's everyone.
So how's permaculture taking shape in Montisonting and the Philippines?
Oh, yes. 3 years we've been working on laying the framework, and so I think I must say it's not growing as fast as I would, but considering really when you start something, give yourself 5 years. 5 years. But Christine and Dale, and we have 10 young people. Last year we funded this project to train young people to be passionate about permaculture. And so and our goal is to reach out to the community now. The second phase, which is we will have another 10 families that we will practice permaculture using the skills of composting, rainwater harvesting, and landscape design. And so, and we are also funding that. And then with that, we want to scale, we want to use it to collect data, evidence-based data so that we can present it to the government. And I mean, um, I've spoken already to.
Which leads me to the question, are you going to work with pushing for advocacy on making permaculture, sustainable agriculture as a national policy?
Oh, definitely. National
That's my
policy, I
wish.
think.
That's my hope.
Oh, but okay. So it is part, it's already, well, that's what we want.
Mhm.
When you say making it as a national policy,
Mhm.
maybe not exactly worded like that, but part of the
Mhm.
national development framework
Right, right.
under the sustainable development, the SDGs number 13, and then SDGs, the environment. So um, we want the young children as early as young as 3 4 year old to
Mhm.
understand what permaculture is, because um, I'm sorry to say, but the way agriculture is introduced to us, we were programmed, we were educated the wrong way.
Mhm.
Had we been educated with the principles of permaculture, which is really the principles of managing the natural world and natural resources,
Mhm.
we wouldn't have this climatic climate change and um, what is it called, the disasters that we
Mhm.
are having now. But so we want to educate young people, introduce permaculture education from as early as toddlers all the way to sixth grade, to high school, to college, and even a permaculture, not just TESDA. We want to have permaculture accredited certificate,
Mhm.
accreditation for permaculture. We already have a building
Mhm.
already, so by next year or 2025.
This is
But
in Montisonte, right?
yes,
Mhm.
and our ultimate goal for permaculture is to have a bachelor's of science in permaculture.
Amazing. So I
Yes.
see your leadership as an example because you're growing plants inside your house.
Yes,
And you inspired me too.
it's just
I grew
beautiful.
ginger twin
Oh,
in my
yes.
own bedroom. Yes. And ginger and onion. Can you believe it?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. So like that's
Yeah.
really leadership in action, little by little. So we can actually do it, like especially at the time of the pandemic, we were like doing home gardening to
Mhm.
ensure our food supply. Like we were thinking of, the worst. So you have to plant your own. So that's amazing, twin. So you see that sustainable development is doable, huh? In
It
the
is
Philippines.
doable. It has to be um, um, implemented in collaboration, really in partnership
Mhm.
with the government and the civil society and the
Mhm.
private sector, and even the people, really the people. The the only way a dream or a framework of action or whatever, even the United Nations resolutions and human rights declaration and all
Mhm.
that, the only way for it to be implemented and to really have its effect in the communities is when the government and the civil society and the people work together.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember asking you this question, but I'll ask you again for the interest of our public here. Who is more challenging to change the mindset? Is it the women, the affluent women, even the women in power in position, or is it like the ordinary women in the rural communities to change and to realize that they have the power to be an effective change implementer?
Um, yes, so it's very easy to point fingers at the leaders, but the way I see it is um, it's way deeper than that. Changing mindset
Mhm.
it has to come. Although there are the conditions, the environment influence a lot of the way, and our culture influence a lot.
Yeah.
But one has to be discerning. So it has, to me, it's really more on one individual um, wisdom, discernment, and willpower, and then they band together and work together. And then, so from one person, so it influences, it grows. There's a circle of influence in the family, in the village, community, society, and nation.
So it doesn't matter whether you're in the higher position, the richer position, or the lower position. It's more on your discernment.
There are certain influences, but really for me, at least for me, because I came from the lower end of I grew up really poor, right? I grew up really poor, but then I saw, for some reason, I had a big mind when I read books, and my imagination, my imagination is expanded, and it traveled all over the world. And I don't think it's limited to your financial capacity, but because every human being has imagination, every human being has this aspirations, and it's inherent in all of us. Though once we just activate it, then one thing will lead to another, and the leaders are there to support. And I have worked with politicians from both ends of the spectrum, religious leaders,
Yes.
All kinds of leaders, actually, good leaders and bad leaders. But even the bad leaders, when you present them good idea, they're attracted to it. Yeah.
So
yeah.
So they are attracted, and they will do something to support.
Yeah, because everyone has conscience. Everyone has this mind, heart that yearns and aspires for what is good. And so even leaders introduce something good, but then sometimes people also, they have their own willpower. They have their own way of digesting things. And it is really, if we want to change the world, we really have to start from ourselves.
I agree with you. And it's a hard climb, right? And everybody has to do it together.
Yes,
to
some
reach a
people,
certain goal.
well, although everyone is born equal, right? But the way we look at things and digest things, the resilience and our willpower, it varies depending on how we grew up. But I think that when there's one person who's a cut above the rest, and then who has a good idea, and if leaders support, it's the dynamics of it is really a hard work of relationship building, moving the heart of other people, and communicating the idea that we have, and making them understand that it's good. And then if it's good, people who doesn't want good, right?
Right.
So everyone
I
wants
see
to
you,
work.
Twin, as somebody who's really into this kind of work, and you deal with the politicians, the business people, the common folk, the townsfolk, and you are able to deliver. So you are a good facilitator for this. Are you training people to be like you?
I'm training people. I want to train people to be to activate their God-given potential more than what I can, because I feel like if I have done the things that my mind want me to do, I would have this superhuman accomplishment. But I'm still very far from it. But I'm trying.
But first, personally, do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel like you don't want to sleep because you are so busy and want to do more? What is your level of investment into this, Twin?
Oh yeah, I feel like I still have a lot to do, but it does it for every project and every phase of development. I feel fulfilled. I mean, like they say that you can be high without taking drugs.
This works.
So it is the receiving the fulfilling feeling, I guess. When you see someone empowered, when you see that a community is doing much better than they were before, and because you have contributed to the work, to how it happened.
So
Then,
that inspires you.
that's really inspiring. Yeah, there's this energy that keeps you going and keeps you looking young, and it keeps you
I can see that.
happy, and it gives you positive energy. So yeah, it's addicting actually.
That's good. Now tell us about what was going on during the Women's Month at the UN, where you're
Okay,
at.
yes. Oh yeah.
What are you gearing up for?
This month, actually, I like this year's Commission on the Status of Women CSW 67th session. I like the theme. It was more on the technology. Hold on. Let me just. I want to make sure that
your paper here.
Yeah, the paper. It is on technological advancement, empowering women and girls in the information technology. So through in education, innovation, and so the whole UN conference, 2 weeks deliberation was about that, how to empower women and girls with education and innovation, to be adept, to be resilient, and in this age of information technology and digital technology.
So women's groups are also into this, like?
Oh yes, delegations from
rolling their sleeves for this.
Government all over the world, and civil society and NGOs. In fact, for Women's Federation, we had, to me, it was like a dizzying schedule, even until today. But we had a 3-day UN advocacy training, and then that was really to align all the projects, the work that we do all over the world, the humanitarian, education, and livelihood projects, align it to the sustainable development goals of the UN, because there are 17 SDGs, and then so from basic education, elimination of poverty, all the way to partnership. And so for me, it's really, as a leader, it's really important to assess what you have in the field and in the policy making body, and then align the work that we do with the UN mandate, and then be effective, go back to the country and be effective in the work that you do. Amazing. And then so that's we prepared our delegations. We had 30 delegations from all over the world.
Can we call in Christine?
Oh yes, Christine, here.
We would like to welcome Christine as one of your delegates and your leader in the making. Hi, Christine.
Hello,
welcome.
Everyone.
Welcome, and thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you for
This is like an
inviting me.
outright.
Yes.
So tell us about your own experience at the UN. Congratulations for coming here in New York, by the way.
Oh yes, thank you so much. Well, the travel is quite long, but when I arrived here, I was shocked with the weather because it's kind of cold, and I'm not used to that in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And when I arrived here in New York, it was like an American dream of going and then going to the UN office and meeting a lot of delegation, hearing a lot of official meetings and side events. Of course, I learned a lot, and I was able to share my experiences in my own community. And I spoke to one parallel event, and I shared how we integrate the technological world to the natural world.
Oh.
Yeah, and I learned a lot, and I am really looking
What is your use in technology and the real world? How is that looking?
like, for example, in our own permaculture activities in Bukal. So of course there are several ways of doing sustainable farming.
Yeah.
But now we have a lot of technological softwares we can use to help us efficiently do our jobs. For example, plotting up vegetable gardens, or looking for like shadow maps on places where we can plant,
What
where
is
the
shadow
plants
map?
can grow.
What is a shadow map?
Like places that get more shadows and places that get more sunlight.
Oh,
Because
so you
there are
have to
certain
identify those
Yes,
areas?
course.
Oh.
These are very crucial, especially in the growth of plants.
And you
Oh,
also
wow.
have that scanner technology
Yeah.
when the leaves are yellow and withered and the plant is about to die,
It
and
can
then
detect.
like we wonder what's wrong with this and did I overwater, and then so you scan it and then it will tell you what's wrong with it.
What you did or what you haven't done?
No, it will tell like what's the problem with the plant.
Uh-huh.
And there is also an application where you scan certain like plant, and then it will tell you what kind of plant it is.
But how do you teach our old farmers that?
Well, that's kind of an exciting question. Well, we're now more working on the young people,
I
and I
see.
think the interest in the young people. But we are planning to introduce it now to farmers or to family.
Mm-hmm.
So we are now more teaching them how to do farming without hurting nature.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
while
that's a good
producing
line.
our own food, we are
Mhm.
also helping our environment regenerate so that our future generations can still enjoy what we're enjoying right now.
Can you say you are so invested into this and what inspired you? What happened to you and you stumbled into permaculture
Well,
and the leadership under WFWP?
yes, I'm a computer engineer, so farming is
Mhm.
very far from my profession. But when I met Women's Federation for World Peace,
Uh-huh.
and when I learned its advocacy of really empowering women, working alongside with men,
Mm.
it really inspired me. Like it gave me
Mhm.
of how I should live that.
Mhm.
And I think through that, I have this mission of really inspiring also more young people to do this,
Amazing.
to fight for a greater purpose and to really live for the sake of others. So that's the motto that we're
very
trying to
Altruism,
be.
right? So
Yes, very nice.
altruism,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So
Speaking of empowering women and girls through technical education, technological education in this digital age, I met a wonderful businessman during the CSW, and we met him at the Consulate Philippine Center in New York, and we were looking for a partner, a possible partner to empower our women and girls. And in my mind, it's Monty something, right? And
Yeah.
so then during the book signing, Brian Poe's book signing, so we met this wonderful um, businessman, and so we talked from the hello, from the hi and hello, then from the walk from the United Nations all the way to our office. We talked about his impressive um, corporate social responsibility in terms of his business, which is BPO, and empowering women and girls through technology. Because specifically, I asked him, the reason why cities are overcrowded, because all the technological innovation and infrastructure are just focused in one center, which is the city. And so people, young people and the women, they migrate to the city to find job. And then so, but it has a social cost, right? In the family and the children. So I asked, wouldn't it be great if businesses actually would sacrifice a little bit of their profit and bring the infrastructure and technology, build buildings and infrastructure in the rural areas so that they can work from their own community and they don't have to go to the city. And lo and behold, he said he was doing that in India already. So I'd like to introduce my friend and friend, right? Friend and now supporter, and he's actually a global peace ambassador of Women's Federation.
Amazing.
He volunteered, and with his wife and daughter, uh, he has a genius daughter. So anyway, but this wonderful businessman, I'd like to introduce Mr. Anupam Dutta, the CEO and the executive director of Headway BPO.
welcome, Anupam, and thank you for being a women's rights advocate.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you, Merlin. Thank Christian. And it was like, everything, everywhere there is a purpose. And we met at the Philippines consulate, and now we are partners and helping each other. So, what exactly we are doing basically last 7 years, like there are a lot of things got changed post pandemic. I would like to, focus on the changes that the technology and the skill set got changed post pandemic. Okay, so from the BPO, from the KPO side, because our organization it's deals with the BPO and consulting and the technology. Okay, and I would like to mention two, three things over here that how it got changed, because technology and the call center, when we talk about, we do it very well in tier one cities, but what about the tier three, tier four cities, right? And so those cities, always they have a problem with the technology. So what we are doing uh, in India, so basically we have it's called rural BPO setup, and our idea was to bring people in tier one, rather taking work from tier one to tier three or four cities in India. And it's called like women empowerment and the digital transformation, which we have done in the city, the Himalayan city called Uttarakhand. We have done it for last 6 to 7 years, and we make it a very successful example for our BPO sector. Now, when we met Merly, like, we talk about that the developing countries like the Philippines, India, and other, they need our support, because if we are sitting in US, so taking work from US, and then why not transforming people, especially women, girls, and the people who they don't have any exposure to for the tier one cities, and then we take the work from here and taking them or giving an opportunity, creating an opportunity over there in tier three and four cities. And but before that, the important point is the training and skill set. So basically, we do 3 to 4 months training, and we give this opportunity to work with us. So it is very important post pandemic that how we are working. So everyone needs an opportunity, but from the BPO side, what we are doing, the technological training and everything is possible, right? If they are sitting in tier three, we taking this work, create an environment and giving an opportunity to them to work with us and make a successful story for all of us. Okay. Thank you
This
so
is
much.
very helpful. I mean,
Thank you.
yeah, I mentioned to him, okay, my village of Muntisunting. So we have built infrastructure already there. We have roads, and we have right next to my bamboo cottage is a tower, a cell phone tower. So there is the Wi-Fi connection already, no problem. There's building. All we need is just a system, a system and people, trained people, and so to provide employment in technological.
So there is a very good business model called hub and spoke model. So basically, we put a hub and spoke model. So basically, we put hub in tier one cities like Manila, and people can operate and monitor. And this the spoke model means the rural area. We put up a small center, and then so through hub model, these guys can be trained, and the technology is well equipped, and then they can do the processing from the rural sector. And it will create indirectly the job creation at the rural area. They do not have to come to the tier one cities. At the same time, from the business perspective, we can reduce our cost. That is the technology and the cost, which we like, and we are last 7 or 6 years, like, helping people, especially the women empowerment and all these things, and using the technology and how to create more job opportunities.
So you have experience doing this in India.
Yes. So basically, I came from this BPO sector and technology consulting sector. So overall, 26 years of experience into this sector. And this startup, we opened up 7 years back to create job opportunities in India and reduce the cost, because cost is very important. Reduce the cost. So this is the way we are doing. And then this is not only for the India, but across the globe we can introduce this model, because everywhere there we need to create the job opportunities.
Right. And so you have thought of going to the Philippines when you met Merly at the UN.
Yes, and even
but
this
you
is
already have a plan though to invest in Philippines.
yes. So
Oh, I
already
see.
like in 4 geography like India, UK, Canada, and US, we are already working, and we are thinking that already we have a plan that by mid of this year we opened up a small center over there, 250, 300 setters in Philippines, to create job opportunity, how to use the technology and reduce the cost for the tier 1 cities and big client, so that indirectly it will manage the ecosystem and then creation of a lot of job opportunity. So that is like our purpose, indirect and direct purpose.
Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations, Twin, and thank you, Mr. Anupam, for that.
He's a businessman and a philanthropist
So
and a
you are going
volunteer
to the
and
Philippines.
with a soft heart for women.
Right.
Empowering women.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you are going to do your project study when you go
Yes.
to the Philippines.
Yes, we already doing the project study, and also indirectly helping Merlin, because the mission and the vision she has, that million dreams, right?
Yes.
And then that indirectly we are also helping that in terms of reach out to more people, and helping the donors management, the call center, and bringing more technology and empowering women in technology and creation of job opportunities. These are the things we would like to collaborate and
all the
together.
best.
Yeah.
All your power into that, and in God's grace, of course.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really
Thanks,
believe,
Christian.
Twin, that when we have a dream and our dreams are aligned to that will contribute to the development of the universe, then the sun and the moons will align.
We'll align.
To make our dreams come true through the good people around us.
Right, I believe so
Yes.
too. So, Christine, you have a big job over there.
Oh yeah.
She's gonna manage it. She's gonna manage. She's the computer engineer. So
I'm looking forward for, of course, with the help of Sir
Amazing.
Anupam and the team in the
Yes, all the best to all of you, and more power, and keep on keeping on.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity, and we will work together. I strongly believe everything there is a purpose, and we're sitting together, helping each other. There is a bigger purpose behind it.
I'm
Thank you,
sure.
everyone.
how amazing! Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank you
I
so much.
agree.
Twin, you have a protege. You have a second
Well, she's
glider.
you know, she's like 100 times better than me.
Well, that's a mark of a leader, you know. You develop people better than you. So, after your generation, the next generation is better. Amazing. So this has been a very wonderful time talking to you. Yes, Twin.
The one fascinating and exciting thing about the CSW was it's really like a marketplace of world leaders and marketplace melting pot of ideas and culture. When we were there, we met the delegations from government delegations. So all of the government delegations, we met them at one go, at one place at the Philippines Center, and then even in the hallways of the United Nations, you would. Otherwise, if you were in the Philippines, right, it would take you years and years before you get their attention and really like talk to them. But you look in one direction and you meet them and you catch their attention.
So it's a good environment for you to exchange ideas and inspire each other.
For Christine and Dale, that was, I think, a very powerful experience.
Great. One last question before we wrap up. Do you think politics matters when it comes to development on the ground, or no, it doesn't?
You want to answer that?
I understand Philippines is so thick in politics, and it's a problem going forward.
So I want to hear from the young people.
Is there hope?
Politics, of course, it's still very important because doing this kind of job, it requires collaboration, government, the civil society, the academia, and all of the organizations. We have this responsibility to work together to really create better.
Right.
That's right.
I know. I understand. And what about you, Twin?
Well, I think politics will always be with us. It's part of our human systems.
Yes.
But I think people have misconceptions that they think that it's politics that moves the world. But actually, in reality, in the most realistic sense, and even if you look at history, it's not. It's not the case because it is actually art and culture. It is when you think of relationship, it's the heart. It's the heart.
It's the emotion.
It's emotion, not reason, that moves people in their innermost core, right? And so when we communicate our ideas to the politicians, to whoever the stakeholders, as long as we communicate it well with heart, and the actions, and we build that relationship, their hearts will be melted, hardened hearts will be melted, political divides will be transcended. And so it's emotion, not reason. It's the heart that moves the world and moves person to the innermost core. So we want change our heart and build that relationship.
Amazing. That's why we have women leaders like you. Thank you, and all the best, Twin and Christine. And thank you for this time. And it's been a very amazing
Hello, thank you.
Closing.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
And yes, the month of March has been great, wonderful. I wish to all the women of the world to have the confidence that we all have the power to change the world, starting from our own personal confidence and our family, societies, and our communities, and the world.
Very well said. Thank you, Twin, and thank you, Christine. This has been Maribir Montebon for another episode of Conversations with MM. See you again. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.